Alpha Labs, Sector 2 processes and stores hydrogen fuel through the facility's primary system, the Molecular Fuel Storage Compactor. The sublevel section houses the coolant control system needed for proper hydrogen fuel refinement. Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to Doom 3, and we are in the Sector 2 of the Alpha Labs. We're gonna watch that corpse get pulled up by absolutely nothing, and instead it's gonna be replaced by a whole bunch of body parts. And also there's a guy that's flying over there. I probably should have focused on that rather than the body parts falling down, but we can't go back now. We're committed to this video, so we might as well just go with the flow and start by not getting slapped by this guy and use our machine gun for a bit. Because I feel as though I'm kind of underutilizing the machine gun thingy. I feel as though it's going a bit unloved. It needs this attention that it deserves in this playthrough. So, damn it, I'm going to give it that attention it deserves, and we're going to start off by killing this guy with it. And also, this zombie security guard who disappears if you don't kill him in time. Because he's just a weird enemy in such a way where he just disappears into nothingness if you let him wander away too far. But here's the second bathroom. As you know, wandering into the first bathroom, all the way back in like level 3 I think it was, that was a smart decision. So naturally, nothing supernatural is going to occur once we enter the other bathroom. Because this one has a shambling zombie. Look at him go. Yeah. That was pretty scary. Like, that is one thing I kind of want to comment on about the zombies in this game. They're really not all that scary. Like, they might be a little bit unsettling the first time you encounter them, but for the most part, they walk incredibly slowly, and there are actual variants that sort of shimmy around or lurch around a little faster compared to the really slow variants, but they barely utilize those guys, and it's such a shame because I feel as though that would make the zombies at least a little bit more threatening at later levels.
Hello, is this reaching anyone? I'm broadcasting on a very low frequency. If you can hear me, I'm not far. Please help me. I've locked myself in storage room C4. Please, if anyone can hear me, please help me.
And we will be meeting that gentleman in storage room C4 in a little bit of time, but first of all, if you walk into this area, there's a maggot around that corner. Just want to get rid of him. And we shall move on through this blinky ventilation shaft, where we can also see that somebody is having a delicious snack in the break room. Or that's the security room, I'm sorry. The break room, I don't know what to call the break room in Sector 2. There seems to be like, at the very beginning I guess that was a break room because they had the Super Turbo Turkey Puncher 3 arcade cabinets. Once you drop down there's going to be an imp right there, and this is where that security guard was. Yep, there we go, there's his machine gun. Just wanted to pick that up because I want to use his machine gun against the foes, like that guy. And also this dude who spawns behind you. And here's another thing about the zombies that you can encounter, is that you can witness that guy who was being eaten, he just kind of stands up, like he didn't mind his friend munching on him. It's a bro thing, you gotta respect that. That was something that I think they had in the beta version of Doom 3, was that I guess if you didn't kill a zombie fully, then they would eventually rise back up after a short amount of time, and they removed that feature. That is another thing that would have been pretty nice to have in Doom 3. And that, well, in theory, I suppose. It would probably become a bit more of a pain if you didn't properly, like, gib zombies or something, then they would just keep getting back up and it would be slightly annoying. Also, I have no clue why all the security cameras are zoomed in exponentially. Like, this is not how they're meant to display, but I think it may just be a graphics card issue. So I'll just chalk that up to AMD's wonderful technology messing up my game once more. Also, you can see that there's a little shield right there. And we shall move on to a window, which has this guy in front of it. Also some hand grenades, and an imp who spawns in and breaks the window. You can actually jump down there and be stuck for all eternity with depleting oxygen supply. So let's not let that happen. Instead, we're just gonna let the door close behind us and check out this guy, because he never moves. Meaning, if you want to go for them headshots, you can do that. 6 headshots, enough to kill one of them imperinos. Also, you crouched. I didn't anticipate that move. But the pistol is still plenty of fun to use. And here's another one of those fancy television monitors that tells you about the technology on the Union Aerospace Corporation. The video disc for that one is right over there. And this is for the molecular fueled storage compactor, which is basically their fuel replacement here on Mars that lets them power things, and it's incredibly handy, supposedly. And hey, there's Bravo Team! The only surviving Marines left on this place apart from me! Yeah, that's it, you check that corridor, don't acknowledge the fact that I exist. Nah. Alright, let's get a move on. And use our machine guns aboard. That is going to be the theme of this video, is that we are going to be using the machine gun against the deadly demons. Except for these two guys. I feel as though a grenade works slightly better. I'm gonna finish that guy off.
Marine, Bravo Team reports they've located your position but are unable to move to your current location. Head through engineering and try to link up with them in Sector 3.
And we will do that shortly, but first of all I want to call your attention to this storage cabinet. And the code for this one is by one Mr. Andrew Chin, which we picked up in the security camera room. And the code for that is 409. You can find the code in an email that corresponds with something like storage cabinet 038, so it's pretty glaringly obvious. But you can see here's an ammo type, and that is chain gun ammo. And we're going to be getting a bunch of chain gun ammo in this level. I'm not going to use the chain gun because I kind of want to conserve it for a different area, but oh man, it is so good to have chain gun ammunition. I highly recommend you pick up as much as possible. But here's that video disc about the MFS and this PDA, which we require for a different storage cabinet much later on. Also, open main vent hatch. Click this button, and it opens up that hatch. So you can actually reach that area where that imp spawned in, who just kind of watched us with his very, very teeny tiny eyes. And you can find a little bit of a stash right here of ammunition. So that's always delightful to have. So, let's get out of this crawl space and move on to the next hallway. Head to engineering, Sergeant Kelly advised. Around this corner, there's going to be a couple of nasty enemies. Now, one thing that may be going through your head is, dude, why aren't you using something like a grenade in this instance? And I have a valid reason for that. That of which you will see momentarily after we kill those guys, and also this maggot that crawls out of that grate. Because, for one thing, behind that grate is more chain gun ammo. But most importantly, this floor tile right here. This secret eluded me for such an incredibly long amount of time. In the multiple playthroughs I've done of this game, I didn't discover this one for the longest period of time. It was purely accidental because I tossed a grenade in this area and then I discovered this hole in the floor. And this is the one moment in the game that like probably genuinely scared me for the first time ever, really. And that's simply because I really did not know what to expect by running down here. Because this is... I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say that this is storage room C4. Because it says storage and engineering over right next to my sprint meter. And there's really no other name for it, but we've got a bunch of explosive barrels and, you know, there's a little hatch back there. So I'm just gonna lob a grenade around that corner and just let it go boom. Get rid of all the barrels. And once we traverse this very tiny crawl space, we can find this area. Anyhow, that is the end of that secret, but once again, I'll reiterate, that pretty much shocked me. I had no clue this was there, and I have to give props to the developer for that attention to detail, because what really adds further to the shock was that I did research on this. Like, I looked up storage room C4 prior to even discovering that this area existed, and everyone else was about as clueless as I was, so props to you id Software. That is a very, very delightfully well done secret. I must compliment that. Right, let's head down the lift. And we're going to watch this maggot go on a fancy wall climbing journey to reach us down here. And go boom. Also this imp. I'm gonna get hit by this guy because that's just gonna happen to me. But you know what? We can mend our wounds by picking up this health kit right here. Don't know if there's another one in this area. But I suppose that's pretty much all we have. We can look at these glass tubes filled with the fuel. And we will encounter Mr. Lampman. And Mr. Lampman is involved in an escort mission, which people might not be very fond of when it comes to playing video games.
Don't shoot. I can help you. The lights are all out. I'll lead you through here if you can get me off this base.
1 second, I just noticed you're not backing up your files, so I'll take care of this for you. So Lampman is going to guide us through this pitch black area, and it's gonna be spooky.
Electromagnetic pulses have knocked out the electrical systems in this area. Watch out. A big one could knock out our lights.
And you can also use your flashlight to brighten up the way, but there are going to be enemies, so it's probably recommended that you keep this guy with you, safe and sound.
There's one.
And there are a couple of specific enemy attachments on this NPC as well, where if he lives long enough, that's going to spawn a couple of additional enemies towards the end of this area.
What was that? Stay close.
So, in some sense, you could argue it's not worth keeping him alive, but you also kind of want to know where you're going.
That was close.
I took a hit there on purpose because I've had a stray fireball kill this NPC early, and I'd personally rather that not happen. So I'm just going to keep an eye out as best as I can to try and protect this guy. That first imp was the first spawn trigger, and the second spawn trigger is over here. Also, if you wander away too far from him, he'll start complaining, like, please, we have to get a move on, dude. I can't go here by myself, I don't have a gun. Don't you know how this game works?
Hang on. Here comes another.
You have to be wielding a lamp first and then a gun second. That's just the nature of it. Also, there's an imp in this area.
That was close.
Indeedy-do. So, those last couple of imps are ones that spawn naturally, even if you ignore Mr. Lampman at the very beginning. The first enemy that spawns, if you keep Lamp Dude alive, is that guy.
Thank God it's dead.
So, keep an eye out for him. I'm gonna pick up this health kit real quick.
Hurry up. We can't stop.
Yes, yes.
There's the exit.
And here's the exit. Now, if you understand horror tropes well enough, you know this guy's not gonna make it out. Which is a shame. But these two enemies only spawn if you've managed to keep that NPC alive for the remainder of that journey. So, that dude behind you. And with that, we must bid our farewells to Lampman. Thank you for guiding us with your very bright, shiny, comforting lamp, sir. So, we could go up the ladder. I would traverse that area, because, you know, we'd make progress, but I'm actually gonna head back to the start of this blackout basement, because there are a whole bunch of secrets that I neglected to pick up, and the reasons of which because I just wanted to guide that guy without him dying. Otherwise, it would be a bit of a confusing mess. So, I'm just going to do my best to follow the wall until I reach the very start of this place, which I think is, over here. Right, so we're going to do a U-turn at the very start, and I will guide you to the secret areas. Take a sharp right over to this little glass window, and you can see that there's a chain gun here. So if you didn't claim the chain gun from the Martian Buddy cabinet, then here's one right here. And there's going to be more chain gun ammo, actually relatively close to it, because if you just take another right at this area, you can find shotgun shells, chain gun ammo, and a box of pistol bullets. Good to have all of those. And the next secret we are going to sprint towards is over here, where you can see there's a whole bunch of blood stains. Just follow the trail of blood, you can find a little stash of items right over here. Next, we are going to head towards, actually, the second imp spawn point, I believe it is. Also, there are a couple of hatches here where you can find some health kits if you desperately need them. I don't, I'm pretty good. So, take another sharp right, and you can find this ammunition backpack where that second imp spawned. Full of hand grenades and good stuff like that. Stuff and things and stuff, which is very, very adequate for keeping yourself in check. Because we want to survive this catastrophe. We want to make it out alive, live to tell the tale that we are the Doom 3 Marine Masters. So, we found pretty much all the secrets in that area, and we're going to turn straight around to find this second storage cabinet. And we picked up a PDA earlier over in the MFS room, where it was by Mr. Walter Connors, and he has an email labeled Note to Self, and the storage cabinet code is 102. There you go. It has a clip, 2 clips actually, and some armor. So, let's get a move on, and we can see that Spider-Man was here. He was just taking care of the bad guys. Yeah, string them up so that way the UAC security teams can come claim them later. Let's go through the door. Let's not go through the door. Let's instead go through the crawl space. That seems like this is my home. This is my element. I like being in crawl spaces because the best thing about Doom 3's crawl spaces is that enemies never reach you in crawl spaces. Because enemies are dumb and they don't know how to crouch. So we're just fine. Let's exit this place. Head towards that ladder over there. And oh my god, it's a spider! You can kill them with 2 pistol bullets. So that makes the pistol actually relevant in some cases. Granted, I say some cases, because when we hit the button to extend the surface ladder, that's going to cause 1 more spider to spawn. And then a giant legion of spiders will follow suit. And this area, you'll probably take a bunch of damage. Like, spiders themselves don't deal out a lot of damage because, well, they're spiders, they're fairly weak. But they also attack fairly rapidly, and when there's a whole swarm of them like this, it can get very scary because this room is very cramped. We don't have any areas we can necessarily jump on, but it's kind of odd because a whole bunch of spider arenas that come in levels afterwards have plenty of places where you can exploit the spider's AI, and they won't be able to reach you ever. They're melee enemies only, but they do also have another special function, which I'm going to demonstrate right here. So, there's going to be 5 more spiders that spawn in this area. First though, we're going to kill 4 of them using our pistol, and that last guy I'm going to ignore for a minute, and sort of let him wander around, because if a spider is not able to find a feasible path to reach you, if you're sort of standing in an area where he just simply cannot locate you like so, then he should explode. Yeah, they have a suicide attack, and that does actually deal explosive damage to you, so you kind of want to stray away, kill spiders as quickly as possible. They don't have a lot of health, so it's really not too much of a problem, but yeah, little hidden function right there of the spiders. Those spiders in particular, there are 2 variants. That variant is called a trite, and the second variant we will not be encountering for a very long time, unfortunately. Or maybe that's a good thing. I don't know, it depends if you're squeamish around spiders, but those enemies, they're pretty okay enemies. I mean, they do suffer the problem of being enemies that just run up to you and punch you in the face, but granted, these guys leap towards you and punch you in the face, so it's slightly different. But we have reached the conclusion of this level. Let us exit Alpha Labs to